January 27 TIFA meeting to order. Are we ready?
Yep.
Oh, call our January 27 TIFA meeting to order. Let's see, first thing we should do is take roll, correct?
Yes, Chairman Hughes,
Yes.
Board
Here.
Member Kuzno,
Yes.
Board Member Lee,
Yes.
Board Member Peipenbrock,
Yes.
Board Member Secord,
Yes.
Board Member Chamberlain,
Yes.
and Board Member Anton.
Here.
Chairman
Wonderful.
Hughes, we have a quorum.
Okay, great. Let's roll. The first item on the agenda would be the approval of the December 2021 meeting minutes.
Mhm.
Do we have a discussion first or any discussion on that? Any issues? Then do we have a resolution to approve?
I'll make a resolution that we approve the minutes.
Second?
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Okay, that took a long time. Sorry about that. The next item on the agenda is a public comment agenda item. So Nick, I believe there is one public comment. Would you, written comment, would you mind reading that?
Yeah, so I have one written public comment. This comment comes from Mr. Greg Donnelly. I comment today on agenda item 8, parking update. Despite your consultant's conclusion that no new parking is needed for Kirchville's business district, you approved at your last meeting tearing down a perfectly good home at 1166 Maryland for more parking. The minutes of that meeting make no mention of the conclusion that no new parking is needed. That is alarming. Also alarming is that the minutes make no mention of the discussion at your last meeting regarding the importance of integrating good stormwater management practices into the design and construction of the new parking lot. Today's agenda and memo from the city manager regarding this future parking lot make no mention of integrating good stormwater management practices either. As I commented at the end of the last meeting of this body, the existing parking lots on Lake Point, Maryland are dangerous for pedestrians and have absolutely no drainage other than surface runoff into the alley and streets. The recent history of the other demolitions and building parking lots right next to 1166 Maryland clearly shows that Grosse Pointe Park does not know how to do this properly, or maybe worse, that the city doesn't want to do this work properly. How will you ensure that all parking lots are designed and built with good stormwater practices? To date, you have no information about what will be built at 1166 or how it will be built. Chairman Hughes, that's all I have for written public comment.
Are there any other comments? No other comments. The next item is selection of officers.
Yes, so as part of the TIFA bylaws, there's supposed to be a selection of a chair and a vice chair every year. So the way this process works is that somebody would nominate someone on this board here for chairmanship. There has to be a second, and then after that vote, there will be a motion and support for a vice chair. So we'll open up the floor for anybody that would like to nominate the chair position.
I'll nominate John to stay reelected.
Is there a support?
I support it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Chairman Hughes, you are chair again.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Appreciate your support.
All right.
I'll make another motion.
Okay,
I will make a motion Kurt Rolstrom to be the vice chair,
okay.
who is not here today, but I know he's very capable and he is also willing.
Okay, is there a support for Kurt?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed? Okay, Kurt Ralstrom is our vice chair of the TIFA.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Alrighty, so got that business out of the way. The next item will be the review of the business improvement grant and the residential improvement grant.
yes.
Take it away.
Yeah, so thank you, Chairman Hughes. So the TIFA has two grants right now called the BIG and the RIG for short. The business improvement grant, which is eligible for TIFA businesses at $5,000 per project, includes facade and signage improvements, landscaping, architectural upgrades, and sanitation upgrades. Businesses must provide a 10% match. The residential improvement grant is eligible for homes within the TIFA at $5,000 per project, includes the pouring of expanded concrete parking pads off the alley and demolition of blighted garages. To be added as an eligible expense compared to our last meeting are structural rehab of garages for the program, and residents must have a 5% match for that. Currently, right now, we do have several business grants that are actually processed through the city. Several board members have done that as well. And we're hoping to get some more interest from the residential improvement grant. And so the financial impact at this time, there's none. The program will be kept at $100,000 for the businesses, $75,000 for the residential improvement grant. And my recommendation that I'm moving forward with is we extend the program application through April 1st of this year. Because that'll give us time in the building department to review all the business and residential. And that we'll need to close this out by mid-May as we're going through our end of the fiscal year budget.
Perfect.
So that's my update, and I'd be happy to answer any questions from the board for the bigger rig.
I just have one quick question on the residential
Yeah.
portion. How are we publicizing that currently? And is there an opportunity to increase the publicity? Because I feel like it's not, something that a lot of residents know about.
So one of the gentlemen here, I'm going to talk to him after tonight, Brad Lindbergh of the Grosse Pointe News. Certainly, if he could be of assistance for advertising of this grant, as well as social media and using our constant contact, which is our email system.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
That might be a great idea. I know there's a number of social media sites for the neighborhood, the community page and the advocates. Those would be great places to put that as well.
Agreed.
Would you mind putting that up there?
Sure, I'm not a member of all of those pages, but I can certainly,
If there is a member, anyone want to volunteer to do that? Going once, going twice?
like
I'm a
I said,
member.
I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I am a member. I could probably pull him up there. So
Yeah, and so what I'll do after this
I'm happy to
meeting
do
with the updated guidelines, I'll post something on the city social media so that the board can share that as well.
that'd
and
be
then I could link that to the social sites.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yep, and it'll go directly to the website.
perfect.
I mean, the city has the broadcast system,
Right.
because I'm getting emails on a regular basis about, water main break or whatever's going on.
Correct.
I think, it'd probably be a good idea to
Yep.
put a blast out
Yeah,
there.
we'll put a big blast out promotional of it, and I know certainly.
Yeah.
Did that. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So are there any guidelines for the structural rehab of garages? Like, people have questions about what can be repaired or what cannot. Is there some place that?
So what we're looking for is that this would be for, if your garage is certainly in shape that could be demolished, but you're looking at, maybe I don't want to demolish and I'd like to rehab this in order, maybe it's the pillars that need to be structurally sound, and losing my train of thought right now, my building official, and I just talked about it, but he would be assisting me in looking at those applications to see if that's suitable for this grant.
Yeah, if there's a structure that's gone, I mean, obviously, it doesn't make sense to fix it, but there's something that could be saved. We actually had some of this discussion last time, and I think it's a good add to the.
Yeah,
plan.
it's a good ad.
Yeah.
It'll be
But
helpful.
why not save a garage if we can?
Right, no, I just was wondering
Yeah.
if there were guidelines for people to look at to even determine if they should submit an application or not.
Well, and that's what we wanted to keep this pretty open so that the building official could take a look, and he's very knowledgeable in being able to let us know that, hey, Nick, this is something that, the TIFA should be able to provide that support, or, hey, just amend this, or, working with your contractor, just, make mention of this and see what we can do.
Great, thank you.
Great.
So I wanted to keep it open so that we could have that discussion with the resident and the building department and make it easier.
See if it's a viable
Yeah.
project.
Okay,
All right, we're good on that?
Yeah.
thank you.
Next item is the budget preparation. We're going to start the budget preparation process. And the question, the budget gets finalized or gets voted on by city council for
For
TIFA
city
in
council.
June.
Yeah, so city council is going to adopt the budget in May or June. They'll have a budget workshop. And then we'll actually formally adopt that budget there afterwards. The TIFA will have to approve of its budget beforehand, and then city council will be in review of the TIFA budget and approve that as well.
Okay, so basically tonight, we're
Yep.
kicking off that process.
Yes, we're kicking.
And Nick is going to provide us each with a worksheet by category, short, near, long-term initiatives or items that we want to pursue. And I would like and he'll have a due date on that. So I'd like
Yep.
everyone's input in terms of what they think and their thoughts are. And what we will have is the current budget to go off of.
Yep.
We'll more than likely avoid specific line items. We'll try to keep them more categorically, so that we have somewhat of a little bit of flexibility within the different line items.
Mhm.
Because once we lock it in, those are what our line items are. So Nick, I'm sorry, any other thoughts on that? I mean, we're not going to really discuss the budget today, but we want you to look at it. If there's questions, clarifications, send Nick and I a note, and then we'll get that information back to you.
And I'll have that sheet for you today or or tomorrow or Monday.
Excellent. Anything else on that?
That's it. You hit everything else.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, that's good.
Okay, how about a little parking update, sir?
Okay, so moving along. Currently, the 1166 Maryland TIFA home, which this board approved of its demolition for increased parking, is expected to be raised in the near future as asbestos material has been removed, along with the gas, electric, and water service removed from the home. And we're just working on the permitting process with Eagle right now, and that should be fairly quick.
Okay,
We're currently working on a potential design of this TIFA parking lot, 1166 Maryland, along with the rest of the TIFA parking lot that goes all the way from Maryland to Lake Point. And the parking lot fronting Lake Point as a potential. And we're looking into the possibility with DTE as a service provider, some of that infrastructure, the poles that are above, can these potentially be buried? Because as you go into that parking lot right now, they're all over the place. And we'd really like to make this not only a parking lot, but also a gathering space eventually for future events and have this as a really beautiful spot for in the TIFA district and approachable. So at this time right now, we're waiting those costs from DT, working with the design team of potential of this parking lot. And at our next meeting, I'd like to have a further update for the board and review.
wonderful. Any questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the cost of DTE and the cost of the parking lot is gonna be all a TIFA expense, is that correct?
That would be a TIFA expense. And that's, I'm awaiting those costs right now to see if it's even something that we could do, you know, if it's gonna be cost prohibitive or that, you know, maybe we'd have to phase it in over a couple of years.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But I agree, the electrical poles are just a major, not only a hazard, but just a detraction visually.
Right.
Yeah, they find my fender a lot.
Yeah,
No,
I haven't hit one, but I've seen people hit them.
I know.
Well, and the concern too, seeing especially for the businesses in those areas, you know, you see the GFL trucks and the service trucks that are going down the area. And
Yep.
as you guys all know, as the business owners, you see that all the time. And, you know, that those poles are dinged and
Mm.
it's definitely a concern and something that I'd like to address, you know, in the future.
We've lost our internet a couple times because of the Comcast cables getting ripped down by trucks.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, moving on, Public Works update.
Yes,
Director?
so, yes, if you've driven by Mac Avenue and Wayburn, they've already poured the concrete footings over there. And so the city council at its January meeting approved of the lease of the building from the TIFA for $1 a year. And currently the steel for the project is expected to be delivered at the end of this month, so in the next couple days here. And that took, I believe it was 6 or 8 months when we ordered the steel, so it's actually coming now. And as well, the alley separation project that the TIFA and the city is working together on in between Maryland and Wayburn. We're looking at February or early March that'll be slated to do. Barring unforeseen circumstances, the expected completion of the building will be in June at some point, with the expectation that we'd have the Grosse Pointe Park Public Works Department in the building by July. And that's all I have just for information right now. We're still in budget. Everything else is going along with the contractor and the architect, and we're very satisfied with the project so far. And the DPW department, building department have been working closely with Ron Selly and Stuckey Vitale, who's the architect on the project. And I'm very excited for the Public Works Department to have a very suitable, brand new building for them.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Really good looking DPW.
Let us know when they're moving, I'll give you a hand.
Oh, there'll be a ribbon cutting. Yeah, this TIFA board will definitely have a celebration when that happens. So. we'll get
Any
together.
questions on that before we move on? Okay, great. Next item is new old business.
Yeah, so I'll just provide a quick update. I've updated this board that I'm certainly seeking a TIFA DDA director. And currently right now I have a assistant city manager position that just closed. And so I'll be going through those applications and interviewing potential candidates. And depending upon those candidates, maybe somebody might be able to fill in that role of TIFA DDA and director. And Chairman Hughes and I did have an interview with one gentleman already as well. So we're undergoing that process, and I expect sometime within the next few months here that you'll be seeing somebody else sitting here besides me. As much as I love working with you guys, it'll be a lot more helpful for the city that we can divide up those duties and prioritize more for this TIFA board. So
Great.
sorry, John, but.
No, it's okay. I love you. Hey, while you're on that topic, I wanted to know if you could also add, the city council has a an RFP out for legal services.
Okay.
And while they're doing that, can we also add the TIFA DDA to that as well? I know we have quite a large line item for legal in our budget, and that may be an opportunity for us to trim that back a little bit as well.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else on new old business? Yes,
Sort
sir.
of new business, but
Sure.
not really directly, but my question is, we've been doing the Zoom meetings for a year plus,
Right.
and now we're back here physically. Is this going to be our new format for the rest of this year? Or do we have the ability to go back to Zoom meetings in the future?
So as of right now, the sunset date for having public meetings in Zoom ended on December 31st. And so every city in the state of Michigan has to conduct public meetings in person. There is no opportunity unless you are of the armed forces for you to be on Zoom. So moving forward, unless the state legislature changes the rules, we're going to be meeting in person.
Okay, my take on the whole thing is looking at that we have 3 people involved here and also really shortage of board members. When we were using the Zoom, we had much greater participation in our meetings.
Right.
So, to me, I don't know, and if there's a possibility of some way that we can integrate both together. I mean, I guess we as board members have to be here, but maybe we should allow the public to access the meeting.
So
via
one of the
Zoom.
things we're actually doing tonight is for the first time, the TIFA is actually having this meeting recorded on Facebook Live right now through Zoom, and that's on our city Facebook page. And we're actually getting quotes right now that for future city meetings that we'll have a permanent audio visual solution, that we'll have a camera up in one of these areas, and that, meetings will be live streamed on YouTube, Facebook. And so that's another opportunity for the public to be available and review.
I
And
think,
if
yeah,
I
I mean,
can't be here, and then
the-
public comment, the city is already going above and beyond with public comment right now. We do have the public in here right now. The city did decide to allow for written public comment for those who are uncomfortable with coming here in person and that want to express their views on agenda items and non-agenda items. So in comparison to our other sister communities, Grosse Pointe Park is really leading the way in transparency.
Okay,
Cool,
all right.
excellent. Nick, could you make one comment about the Open Meeting Act? Because I know we have some new members. I just want to make sure, and if you could also, in the distribution, send a copy of that out to us so we understand what that Open Meeting Act means, so that we don't inadvertently violate it. Because I know we're enthusiastic, we like to talk about things, but there are limitations. Go ahead.
Yeah, the best way to describe the Open Meetings Act so that we're not in violation of such as this board is if I send out an email that's to the entire board, or Chairman Hughes does, for commenting back and forth during a discussion, if you could individually reply to myself or Chairman Hughes, so that if we have, this board is 11 members, if we have six members or more start to comment and deliberate back and forth, then we're technically in the violation of Open Meetings Act. Erica, do you want to touch on anything else, or that?
Yes, I
pretty
think
much, yeah.
the only thing from my perspective that I would add is that we put together a package, kind of a mini primer about the Open Meetings Act for the new council members, and we can certainly provide that
Perfect.
That'd be
to you
great.
guys.
Thank you.
And you can use that as a resource too.
Right, and I
Okay.
think one of the key operatives, if there is a question or some data, I know the members this is a very talented group, and there are some very good information that we all have to offer, and that's appreciated and respected. But I'd like to make sure that when we do communicate that, it goes to Nick and the chairperson versus committee-wide communique, and then the director will, and then disseminate where appropriate. So we kind of control that dialogue. Again, you get excited, you start wanting to talk, and then all of a sudden you're in violation of something. We don't want to do that.
Well, this is the place for some discussion.
That's exactly
Yeah,
so.
yeah,
That's why
what
we're
doing
here.
right now.
Exactly so. I think that's all I have right now on new old. Is there any other public comment?
Let's see.
I'm sorry, I was
New
not. I'm
business.
not sure if anyone else has anything for you or all. Excuse me.
I'd like to welcome new members, Trenton Chamberlain and Christine Anton, to the board. So
Yes,
thank you
Thank you
guys.
so
Yeah.
much.
for being here.
congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, then.
I don't know who Erica is, so.
Oh,
Hi,
Hi.
city attorney.
City attorney, okay, thank you. Just Kind of got that feeling, but.
She's filling in for Jake tonight.
Okay,
Yep. And then Chairman Hughes, I have no public comment on agenda items written.
okay.
And then do we have any spoken public comment for non-agenda? Seeing none. Chairman
Okay.
Hughes, we have no public
Well,
comment.
then I'd like to move for adjournment. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah. Thank you very much.
Express version.
Oh my God, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Nick, do you have that packet handy or do you need me to resend it?
If you can resend